ब्रह्मचर्यव्रती दण्डी सर्ववेदान्तपण्डितः श्रीमद्विवेकयोगी मां प्रचोदयतु सर्वदा. Today we shall see some of these forms and names and godmen who are the sources of inspiration for us to purify our thoughts and develop it into bhakti. In every religion, we will find there will be some, if not the godmen as we have in India, avatars as we have in India, but everywhere, maybe a prophet, maybe a great saint, maybe somebody who has surrendered their everything to the God and attained sainthood. So everywhere we find these forms and names and godmen who make the love wholesome for the ordinary people. You know, when you talk of this, I always feel we in India are so blessed. You know, wherever we look, we cannot escape seeing some godly form or name or something which reminds us of the God. We start from the very big ones. Himalaya. The minute we see Himalaya, of course it is a mountain, the biggest mountain, the greatest mountain, but at the same time, in a bhakta's heart, Himalaya stands for Gauri's father, father-in-law of Shiva, from where Ganga originates. See? Similarly, we have great towns, Mathura, Vrindavan, Sabarimala, Palani. The very name itself brings to our mind the godly forms which have sanctified those places. There are so many people, craving to be born again and again, even as a grass in Vrindavan. Dwaraka. See? So many names of the places which remind us of the great personalities who have lived and sanctified those places. Then we go to the animals. In the animal kingdom, usually we look at the animals with a sort of derision. But here we have, when you see a sarpa, we remember sarpa god, serpent god, Shiva's ornaments. Immediately our mind goes to Shiva. When you find the Garuda, it's after all a small bird, an eagle. But for us, Garuda stands for the great Vishnu's Vahana. Here we have the lion. Immediately, Simhavahini, Simharudham, Trinetram. Immediately our mind goes to the great Durga. Even a crow. A crow is supposed to be connected with Shanidev. A cow, even the buffalo, he is Yama's vehicle. So everything, color, blue color brings to our mind Krishna, Rama. Yellow color, the Krishna's dress. Blue, Balarama's dress. Red, Devi's dress. See? There is nothing in India which is not in some way or other associated with flowers, the lotus, in which stands our Lakshmi or sits our Saraswati, musical instruments, veena, tumburu. Just imagine, you cannot pass one day without thinking of some godly form or other in this blessed country of ours. They are all pratikas. Why have they created so many pratikas, so many forms? Because at least for 1 second or 2 seconds, we lift our mind from a selfish thought and goes towards a godly form. Imagine, little pin drops by which our thoughts are purified. On the contrary, when I was traveling in the United States, I used to wonder, what are the pratikas you find there? The pratikas of a worldly life only, isn't it? Big mansions, big commercial enterprises, big stalls. Our margin free and all came only now, Then big, gigantic, what we call the bridges, but not a single thing which will remind you of any godly intervention in human life. Nothing to remember God. So I used to wonder, my goodness, see, just to live in this Punya Bhumi, nothing, no God, but even then you cannot but absorb some of the godly vibrations which fill up our atmosphere in India. Then talk about the rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, everything reminds us of godly presence. So, no wonder this is called a blessed country, a Punya Bhumi. Apart from its being Karma Bhumi, Satya Bhumi and all that sort of thing, this is a Punya Bhumi because so everything is associated with some godly incarnations or saints or sages or maybe mighty kings, probably. Even they who lived a life of total renunciation like Janaka. When you think of Mithila, you think of Sita, you think of Janaka, the living embodiment of a practical Vedantist, isn't it? So, Pratika is really a innovation from our great sages to lift our mind from the mundane to the sublime. From the mundane, otherwise we will be thinking only of very common things, isn't it? Our food, shelter, occupation, like that. From there we are lifted. With the result, these are all made tirthasthanas. So in your life, sometime or other, you entertain a desire to go to these places, to visit Vrindavan, to visit Mathura, to go to Sabrimala, to go to Guruvayur, like that. See? So, what exactly the science which is happening behind it? Our mind is lifted. As I said yesterday, the other day I was saying, when a cotton seed is split open, cotton fruit, the cotton comes out of and starts getting more and more fluffy, more and more expansive, more and more tender and soft. So in the same way, seeing these examples of godliness, our mind automatically gets an amount of purification. It may not be very high, but for one janma, where there is nothing else. So these are very important. Then of course, added to that, we have the various saints, various incarnations, and various godmen, avatars, which have come into into our lives, into the lives of our people, and help them to lift themselves from the ordinary to the sublime. So, nowhere in the world you will find such an abundance of pratikas, abundance of godliness sprinkling out from everywhere in India. That is why Swamiji, when he landed in Pamban, they asked him, after being in West, when you come here, how do you feel? He had no hesitation. He said, before I went, I knew ours was a holy country, but after returning from here, I find every single sand grain is holy and sacred, and he put that sand over his head.